many times they were saying to me, "Don't start. You will never win this." And I was telling, you cannot say that because I can say you, if I don't try, nothing will happen. If I try, something can happen. I was tired, and sometimes when I came out of a place where I was fighting a lot for nothing, when I came out, I was crying. I was sitting in a place crying for a long time.
Halo teman-teman, selamat datang di Uncensored with Andini Effendi. Dan episode kali ini saya kedatangan seorang kawan lama, seorang ibu yang ceritanya ini sangat amat harus dibagi kepada teman-teman semua supaya kita bisa belajar untuk lebih bersyukur dan terus berjuang untuk cinta kasih kita terhadap anak-anak kita. Hélène Le Touzey ini seorang relawan dari Foreign Policy Community Indonesia atau FPCI yang kali ini menjadi tamu saya. Welcome to Uncensored, Madam Helene.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. So, Madam Helene, we met in Los Angeles, 2012, I believe.
Yeah,
that was an Indonesian diaspora
Exactly,
event.
the first event Padino did, yeah.
Yes, so we are connected to our mutual friend slash peer, or whatever we want to call it, Padino Jalal, who granted us like permission for you to be here. So thank you, Padino, for allowing Bu Hélène to be here with us. So, Madam Hélène, the reason why I want you to share your story is because I believe Madam Hélène has a remarkable story as a mother that she will share with us. Then I hope all of us can learn something about the journey of and the fight as a mom. Right?
As a mom, yeah.
So, Madam Hélène was born in Vietnam.
Yes, I was born in Vietnam.
You were born December 15.
Yes.
You are 72 years old.
72 years old now.
You don't look 72 because this is how I met you was like this already. 11 years ago. Yes, and then you were raised in Marseille, in France.
Marseille, in France,
and then you moved to another city close to the Swiss.
To Geneva. The town's name is Bonneville, and it's 20 kilometers from Geneva.
From Geneva.
But still in France and in the very touristic area, in the Alps. And you
Beautiful.
get skiing and lakes, and it's a very beautiful
So you
place.
lived there all your life before your Indonesia story happened?
Yes.
Okay. And then you have 3 kids.
Yes.
3 children, and you're not married to the father of the children, yeah? So it's a partner.
Partner, yeah.
Partner, and then so you, when you were teenagers until you got married, you were traveling.
Yeah, I like to travel, and I was traveling with my partner, and after we stay together and have children. And my first child is born in Berlin, in Germany. In Germany.
The firstborn was a girl.
A boy.
A boy, and then?
And then a boy.
A boy,
And
Mikhail?
then Mikhail. And the third one, Samantha, is a girl.
Is a girl. And they were all born, Mikhail and Samantha were born in France?
In France, in Bonneville, in the small town where we were staying.
Yeah. So you never, during your travel years, have you ever been to Jakarta, to
never.
Indonesia?
I have never been in Indonesia before the story happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, never. I was going to Thailand, to Philippines, and many countries around, but no.
But do you
In
have...
China even,
China?
and Tibet, and
Australia? No.
Mongolia. No. At that time, I loved riding and traveling to visit trekking, and I was in Nepal and India. And
You're Sagittarius. You're an adventurous person.
And the father is Sagittarian also.
Oh, there you go. Et voilà.
Et voilà. Yeah.
Okay, and then, so do you have any knowledge about Indonesia at that time?
Not at all. I was a kind of lady, when you ask where is Indonesia, I know Bali, but not at all that such a big country around there.
Wow. So,
I knew about Bali,
yeah.
And that's all.
Okay, so let's start with your Indonesian story. So at that time, you were still in France.
Yes.
And what did you do at that time?
At that time, I was working and I was traveling also, and I was just coming back from Tibet that time. And at that time, it was Christmas time.
What year was that?
In 1999.
99. Okay, very
Yeah.
well.
And the end of the year, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, we were enjoying the time, just parties, family and parties with friends.
Your kids were all there?
No,
except
no, no.
Michael?
My daughter was in United States at that time.
Okay.
And my other son, Sebastian, was there.
So only
Yeah.
Sebastian was there?
Only Sebastian was there.
And your partner is already separated at that time, yeah?
We were separated, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were doing your thing. You just came back from Tibet. You have your job there.
Yeah. I had my job and...
you had a party, Christmas dinner, I guess?
Yes, with family.
With family?
With my partner and the family of my partner. And we always have been very good friends, even if we were separated.
Wow.
And so...
so it was a good, jolly mood.
Exactly. That was really... really this, yeah.
Until you receive a phone call.
In the middle of the night, I received a phone call, and the honorary French consul told me that my son was arrested in Bali, and then the health went down.
What went through your mind when you received that news?
I could not imagine it was true. You see, I'm still...
I know. You're still processing after all these years.
Yeah.
So Michael was imprisoned because of accusation of carrying drugs.
Drugs, yeah.
Was it?
And
and then?
And then I spoke to his father, and his father at that time was not willing so much that the story came out. So he asked me not to talk to the family and so. So I talked to my sister and my mother, and my boss. At that time, I was working with him because he saw my face and said, something happened to you. And then I talk, yeah. And some friends also. And we start to try to know what to do and how to do it to help Michael.
Yeah.
Michael, yeah.
So, and then at that time, you know that the verdict can be for a death penalty, was it?
Yeah, because people said to me already that the sentence would be very big because of, how I say, for example. And then Michael was the one chosen for make an example. And then they say the sentence will be very huge. Then I talked to Michael through the honorary consul.
That was that night, that evening?
No,
After?
not at all.
Okay.
During the months after, I
Okay.
was talking to Michael, and I told him to explain me the story and to try his best to stay before I can reach some money to go myself, and help him as much as I could. And then I start to call Amnesty International to know about what happened, because in my life I had never had any problem, and so I was totally lost. And I start to try to call the French government and the ambassador here, and I try to reach some lawyers through Amnesty International. I say I will pay them, but I need a good lawyer. And then the lawyer, from Jakarta, they said to me, if it's in Bali, we would not help you. You have to try.
This is via calls. You only call.
Yeah.
You were
call.
not here.
No, not at all. That was call, and I was sending packet to Michael and money as much as I can, and with the help of my family and also my friends. And my boss also, who was really participating that time.
Yeah.
He was paying the phone calls and the sending of packet, and he raised up even my salary that time because
Wow.
saying you will need a lot.
And you also did like a few jobs in
Yes,
order to make
because
amends.
I had, you know, as I said to you, I like to travel at the time. And then I was just coming back. So empty pockets when you come back from a big travel. And I came to some friend and said that I would need a job. And I was still working for my partner because he had a business. So I had a part-time with him.
The father of
The
Mikhail.
father of Mikhail. And I had a part-time with another friend and another man also.
You were working 4 jobs?
No, three
jobs.
yeah.
In order to collect money?
Yeah. And me, normally I like to ride horses and to ski and to buy books and music and whatever, eating in restaurant. And that time I said, no way, nothing.
You save up.
So I was saving up everything I could. Yeah.
So from that call on Christmas Day until you arrive in Indonesia, how long was it?
I arrived in Indonesia in August because all the time I was following the story. And one time Michael said, "Mom, you have to come because they want to start the trial.
Yeah.
And that will be a death sentence, they already said. And the lawyer were not so good, and the translator...
They don't speak French, I believe.
No, not at all, and even very bad English. And me, I had not a single Indonesian word.
But you speak English at that time?
Yeah, at that time, because I love traveling. I was already speaking English, but maybe just for traveling, so not so for the law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I start learning law words in English and in Indonesian before knowing them in French even.
Oh my goodness. So you read the undang-undang?
Yes, I was buying kamus, and in many languages, in French and English and Indonesian, and to be able to translate and to talk to the lawyer, because I changed the lawyers, and I changed the translator also. But even it was not so good, but already much better than what it was before.
Yeah.
And I tried my best to understand. And when I went to the trial, I tried, because they were speaking in Indonesian, and as I said, I had not a single Indonesian word. Then I was looking the faces and trying to understand by the
look
face.
of the face.
Yeah,
oh, Lord.
And that was very terrible for me. And I was too far to hear the translators that Michael had in English. And then I really trying to note some word I could hear, and with my camus I was trying to.
So you translate everything that you hear on the trial, at the trial, and then you translate it using kamus.
Yeah, but you know, Indonesian is very tricky, because many times you used to cut the word, and you have to know the roots, because you had things before, and so I was looking
have different
for
meanings.
Yeah, and I was looking the full word, and I of course didn't find it, and oh my God, it was. And fortunately, the lawyer I chose was speaking English, so we used to speak a lot, and he was explaining me a lot of things, and he gave me good advices.
This is the lawyer that you end up using throughout the way. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. And then you also use the dictionary, the kamus, to translate the law here.
Yeah.
So was it undang-undang KUHP, was it?
Because they were saying is under this law, 81 and pasal blah blah blah, and so and then I was translating word by word to be able to understand.
I don't even understand as bahasa Indonesia. I don't even understand what this means, especially like.
So I was
coming from French language.
Yeah, and even now I can say many words from the law and all the things that people even in the office would not understand, because I practice them so much that.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Wow. And then, so tell me, so you moved to Indonesia.
First, I didn't move. I
Okay.
just asked my boss to give me at least 2 months holiday to see what was the situation and to try to help Michael. But then when I saw Michael and the condition, and he was totally enclosed inside of himself, and then he was as a zombie, a kind of zombie. And I said, I cannot leave him like that. I cannot.
That's why you
I have
decided
to stay. I said my boss and my family, I think I have to stay. So they were thinking that would be better.
Oh,
and,
they were supported.
Yeah, they were supporting me.
Supporting you.
And me, I came with small money. When I came in August, I had already some money before me because I had, as I said, didn't buy anything, doing nothing. And then with this, I could rent a small house. You know, I said, I don't know if you know the Three Pigs story with the house in herbs, and then in wood, and then in stones. And I think I did this because my first house was...
Your first house was where? In Bali?
Was in Bali.
Okay.
So first, because I didn't know anything, and I was staying close to the jail. In
the prison, was it Kerobokan?
So it was in Kerobokan, and I was staying in Seminyak. And then I start really much to have a house close to this place because I was walking and buying on my way. And after I was trying to know a little bit bigger and bigger, and the lawyer was in Denpasar, so I was going to Denpasar. The court was in Denpasar, so I start to enlarge my capacity.
Wow. Have you always been close to Mikhail?
Yeah, I have always been close to my 3 children. We were very close, even if we were separated by one was in Asia, because Michael was not only in Indonesia for a while, he was in India, after he was in Malaysia, and he was finally in... And my daughter, she was in the United States, and after she has been in Caribbean, and now she's in France. They're all in France now.
Okay.
But before they were traveling.
Yeah.
Only Sebastian was not traveling.
Okay.
But the 2 others likes to travel.
But they're always close to the mom.
Yes. Yes, of course, they were calling me. If I had no news from my daughter in 2 weeks, I was feeling, oh, what happened? I was feeling bad. And Michael, it was a month or a month and a half. If I had no news, I say, oops, what happened?
So that's why there is that urge for you to be here close to him.
And we even did a trip together.
Yeah.
Michael was in Malaysia at that time, and we met in India. And my daughter was in Japan at that time, and we went together in India, the 3 of us. And that was a very good and nice and very good trip.
That's why you...
So we were very close and sharing a lot of things together.
That's why you wanted to move here, in a way, to be closer to him.
Yeah, when I came here, as I say, it was not to move because I had a job and I could not leave everything like that. But then after, when I saw the situation of Michael, I said, no, I cannot leave him alone, and then I moved.
So tell me, like, the struggles, I guess, the challenges, I would say challenge. Living here, away from family, one child is in prison, facing a death penalty.
Yes.
And not knowing the language, right? And then how did you like come about to like, now he's free. Michael is free now.
Yeah, and he just has a child.
Michael just had a child living in France.
Living in France.
With a wife.
His wife he met here, a Malaysian lady. He met here, and he went first to France when he was free to prepare the place, and then she came, they married, and now they just get a newborn baby 2 weeks ago.
See? Amazing. This is like because of your struggle, because of your journey.
Yeah,
along with many other support, of course.
Yeah.
But you were here, you were like calling everyone, you were like writing everyone, including Padino.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So tell me that part of the story that leads you into like Michael's freedom.
First, I could not imagine my son to be death sentence. And after, when he has got by 3 trials the life sentence, I say it's not possible. I cannot do this. And then I finished with the lawyers, because after the Mahkamah Agung, I said, okay, I do it myself.
And you do it yourself?
Yes.
With the lawyers?
No.
Without lawyers?
Without lawyers. I say I'm fed up with lawyers because everything seems to be worse with them. Nothing is working, so let me try by my own. And
oh my God, okay, let me get this. A foreign citizen, a French citizen who speaks very little Bahasa, and with like Indonesian officials who don't really speak good English, dealing with a death sentence case, and you're trying to make it basically lesser than that, with a drug conviction.
Yes.
And at that time, the choice was life imprisonment, right? Seumur hidup penjara.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. You didn't want that.
No, no way. I cannot imagine this. I say no way. It cannot happen. So, because I am someone. When I have an idea, I try to manage.
Sagittarius.
Yeah, Sagittarius
Let
again.
me tell you.
Yeah, and then I said I have to find my way. And first, I was a little bit angry with what I was facing, because I say it's not fair what happened, and I was angry. And after a while, I say, "Who are you becoming? An angry lady? It's not you." So you have to understand that you are in Indonesia. Here is a country with the rules and their way of living and everything. So you have to find your way with them and for Michael. And so I was really doing that. I was, as you said, coming to a place to understand what I should do, and staying days after days. If people say to me, "Oh yeah, I take care of you," and after, "Oh sorry, it's too late," I came the day after and with a big smile, and they can imagine that I will come every day until they receive me.
Did they ask you for money?
Can I speak about this? Yes.
Okay. Yes, you need to, because we all know this is like a public knowledge.
Yeah.
Right.
I must say that they talk to me about the possibilities I could have if I have a lot of money, but I had not a lot of money. And then my way of life is, as I said to you, Padino said, I am a polos lady. Yeah. Then I say I cannot manage that kind of thing. It's too difficult for me. I cannot do things like that, and after I feel too bad. I cannot.
Plus, you don't have the money at that time.
No, but I say if I have a conviction that it makes something happen, maybe I can make a loan. I can ask my family or whatever. If I have the conviction that it can work.
But you don't feel like...
No, but
it's not right.
Everyone say to me, there is no possibility to say that it will happen because the judge is the one who takes the harm. So we cannot say he will do that or that. We can expect that he will do this if we do that or that. And some people, they were saying, "Oh, we can help your son." And they were inside of the jail. And I said, why don't you help yourself before trying to help my son? So many times I was facing people who were just joking or trying to take advantage, I guess.
But you never spend money on that?
No.
That's good.
I said, no, I am by the law. And this is also one advice that the lawyer gave to me. He said, if you have no money, so it will be a big sentence. You must face that. And if you go back to France and back and forth, it will always be something difficult. But if you stay, people are going to see that you are fighting for your son, so you might have sympathy from people around. not from everyone, of course, but some people, they will get sympathy and maybe they will try to help you.
Yeah.
And after, I was helping a lot of people inside also, because Michael was feeling pity of people getting no one outside.
Foreigners or Indonesian?
Foreigners and Indonesian, but mostly foreigners, because some they had no consulate or whatever. And Michael was saying me, this one, can you help? This one, can you help? And so I had my small book and I write, I have to do this for this.
Wow,
and,
you become the legal advisor.
Yeah, kind of. And also buying things for people and trying to help and informing the family, because some people, they said, we have been arrested, but the family, they don't know. Oh. Can you help us to get in touch with family and
to the convicts?
Yeah. And so I was starting to be someone in the middle for many people, and then I was going to many administration, not only for my son but for other people.
What do you mean administration?
I was going to the Bapas, to the Dirjen Pemasyarakatan. I was going to...
Oh my God, you go to the high officials within the government.
And to Mahkamah Agung and to all the court and to the prosecutor and even to the Agung prosecutor here in Jakarta. I was going everywhere.
When you go to these offices, in Jakarta, being you, bule, right? A lady, bule, who doesn't speak bahasa, do they look at you like?
Yeah, sometimes people were very surprised, and many times they were saying to me, don't start, you will never win this. And I was telling, you cannot say that, because I can tell you, if I don't try, nothing will happen. If I try, something can happen. And then I was trying. And many things I tried fell down. And Michael was tired sometimes because he said to me, Mom, you are trying so many things and you are up and boom. And sometimes he said to me, you must go back to France.
You don't want to go back?
No, but he said, let me die, because of course I will never stay my life. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time. Take your time, madam. So he was already giving up?
Sometimes he was giving up, but...
But you never give up?
No, never.
What was like...
I was tired, and sometimes when I came out of a place where I was fighting a lot for nothing, when I came out, I was crying. I was sitting in a place crying for a long time. Sometimes I was coming home and sleeping until the day after, so I could not.
Just tired?
No energy. But after I said no, I have to carry on. And I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And the drive was because of the love for your child.
Yes.
Wow. And then after Mikhail got a verdict of, was it 20 years?
20 years, it has been a long time, because normally there is a law that after 5 years of good behavior, you can get a sentence from life to 20 years.
Yeah.
But they explained to me that it never works for drug sentence. And then I say, no way, there is a law, the law is this, then why it should not work? And I was trying all I could. And I was going to Dirjen Pemasyarakatan saying, the law said this, are you agree with me? And they said, yes, we agree with this, but it won't work because we don't used to do like that. And
for drug cases.
For drug cases. And then...
and then you wrote letters to everyone?
Everyone,
including Padino Jalal?
Including Padino, who was
spokesperson for Presiden SPY at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was 2004, 2005, was it?
Something like that, yeah. And because I applied for the file to get 20 years, but it didn't work. It was not accepted, but not rejected. Okay. So
what do you mean?
that means that the year after I could propose again and propose again.
Yeah.
Of course, with a new file, but
Yeah.
at least proposing again.
For that 20 years,
Yes.
because of good behavior, was
yeah.
it? Okay.
And then I propose again and again, and while all during this time I was writing to everyone, and Padino 1 year later, because no one was answering me.
Yeah.
No one I wrote.
This is like letter.
Yeah,
by,
I was
by
writing,
handwriting.
and I was handwriting in French because it's my language, in English, but my English is not perfect, and in Indonesian, and my Indonesian was less perfect than now, yeah, at that time, with Camus, so it must be a little bit strange to them, but for this I was writing 3 times letters to everyone, handwriting, and I was writing to all the French deputy to try to help.
Yeah.
And to
Who
all the
responded?
senators, no one.
No one?
Very few people. And only 1 year later, Padino, all of a sudden I got a phone call from Padino. And I was, oh my God, I even forgot that, that this letter was not answered. But he said, I moved my office and I am looking my letters.
Yeah.
And then I found yours, and it's a kind of miracle because I opened it and I read it and I want to meet you.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow. So he was basically the only one responded with a follow-up.
Exactly. Only the French embassy was helping me.
Yeah.
And also the French president.
At that
Several
time.
French presidents were talking about your president, about my son.
Okay, so that was when, not Sarkozy, before that.
First was Chirac,
Okay.
and then Sarkozy.
Okay.
But when Hollande, he didn't do anything. But at that time, I didn't need so much because I was already doing myself.
You're already doing your own diplomacy here in Indonesia. My goodness. And then so you met Padino, and then he basically supported,
He said to
assisted.
me, he will help me. He didn't know how, but he would help me. And then I think he gave the small déclic that makes the story could happen.
Oh my God.
Because Michael has been really one of the only one who got this 20 sentence. At that time, he was the only one, and very few had got
What year was that? Was the verdict for 20 years?
For 20 years.
Yeah,
so
what year was that?
In 2008.
2008.
He got it, and he should have got it in 2005.
Yeah.
But with the work I did and Padino's help, because he was doing a lot to try to help, it happens. And
so tell me the day that he finally got a 20 years verdict, as opposed death sentence, and then life imprisonment, and then 20 years that can be reduced, right?
Yeah.
For a drug case that is very little in Indonesia.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me, like, what went through your mind when you finally got it?
You know, when Padino called me to tell me that it would be signed, but he said to me, must be quiet, And when he said that, I was feeling, oh, that's for freedom. Because, you know, as a mom, I was feeling, oh, freedom. And then he said, 20 years. And I said, oh my God. And straight away, I rush in laugh because I said, oh, 20 years, it's perfect because there is a hand. 20 years, it means there is a day he will be free, whatever. And since he has 20 years, he could have a reduction of the sentence. That before he could not have because he had a life sentence.
Yes.
And then this was very perfect.
And then he was released when again?
And then when I told to Michael, that was his father came to visit, and Michael was in Madiun at that time because from Bali he went to Porong and Madiun.
Okay.
And he was in Madiun. And then when we tell this, he made the contrary as me. He rushed in, wow. And then after, 20.
Oh, still long time. Yeah.
So we did the contrary.
Okay.
But he was very happy. And,
Yeah. So that was 2008, and then he was released with
And then-
bail, not bail, but with what do you call it?
And then after, I made the job for him to move to Jakarta.
Okay.
Because in Madiun it was complicated. I was taking the train and night train, and it was a strange life for me. But then, after when he was in Jakarta, I tried to apply for parole.
Parole. Yeah.
And then the same story, people say, never
Cannot.
try this.
Never gonna happen.
It never got to happen.
Yeah.
And
But
so-
never ever say impossible to a Sagittarian.
Yes.
Because
I
we
think
will
so.
do the opposite, right?
Exactly.
And that's what you did. Yeah.
And then I start my job alone again, and going everywhere, talking to everyone, and pushing, and then it happens. It has been a big job, but it happens.
So
And
when it finally happened, I just want to know you're feeling like, wow, nothing is impossible. And then what went through your mind at that time?
no, at that time I was so happy because I say it's a SAS. Because you know, some people, they are in jail, and all of a sudden they are free, and they are out of the door, and they have to come back in their life. And I said, well, for Michael, it will be a SAS, decompression, you know, when you will learn to live. Because I knew that after the parole, he would be ejected to France. Because that's the law. That's the law. He had to go back to France, and then he could not build a life here because of this. Then it seems to be a time in between.
Yes.
But it's good again because he tried to work in his job. A little bit, but it was difficult because no one wanted to give him a job because it has to be supervised by the Bapas and the Dirgen, and so the boss, they were not so much thinking that it was a good idea. And then again, Padino said, "Oh, Michael is." Padino remember because while he was in jail, Michael sent him some drawing to say thank you for several things. And Padino find it again and said to me, "Well, Michael is very good in drawing, so why doesn't come to here to make some job for FPCA?"
Graphic designer, at FPCI.
And then he started a little bit in, but it was difficult to adapt himself. And then Padino said, "Then let him go to the La Salle school to learn about it." And Michael was very happy because he learned a lot, and it was a very good time.
Madam, has Michael ever mentioned or even stated anything to get how grateful he is to have you?
Oh, yes, of course. I think he's more than grateful.
What did he say after all of this?
Thank you. But a real thank you. And he was really grateful to Padino. And because we all know that without him, maybe even I work a lot and maybe something could not happen. So for the 20 years, I don't know. For the parole, no, but for the 20 years, yes.
How is your relationship now with Michael since he moved back?
Oh, it's always the same. He's calling me. We speak a lot, and but I think it's better. It was better for him to be in France with the family, the friend, because some of his childhood time friend, they came to visit him in the jail, and they met even his wife, Sharon, here when they were in parole, when Michael was in parole. And then now they were helping Michael, when he came back to France, they were giving a car and renting an apartment and doing things like that to
So he has a
help him
support
to,
system.
Yeah,
That's good.
with the family a lot, and with the childhood time friends. So that has been a very good. And I thought we spend so much time together in the bad thing. It's better that we cut a little bit, as now he's living his own life and happy with. Of course, I like to come back to France once in a while and to visit everyone. But
what about you, though? I mean, Michael, I know he's happy now, he's better, but you went through a lot.
Yes.
Don't you want to be with your family in your safe space?
No, I think, in a life, we go from point birth to death, and I thought before it was a bracket, my time here with Michael's story, but I felt it's not a bracket, it's my life. And during this time, I met a lot of people, I changed a lot, I learned a lot, and I felt I cannot go back to my old shoes, getting my life as before, as a happy, easy life. And I have something to do here, and I was happy to do it.
Even though you spent I would say a lot of bad times, right, in Indonesia, but it didn't traumatize you.
It traumatized me, and I still break down sometimes. But in a way, I'm very grateful because I learned a lot, really much. And
What was the biggest lesson for you?
I say the first lesson I took in Indonesia was to be patient. That I was not.
We all not. we are never patient here.
I learned patience. That's my first lesson. And after I said, in Indonesia, I took all the lessons of the light I had not taken in France before because I had a very protected life. Then I get all together at once. And then it was not bad, at least, because I learned.
So everyone who are watching this, they must be confused. Why is Madam still in Indonesia? Even though Michael is already moved back to France, we know, okay, now you work with Padino, you work with Padino closely.
As a volunteer.
As a volunteer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am a volunteer in FPCA.
Okay. But so why do you stay?
I stay because I made my life here, and I think if I go back to France, I have to start from zero again. And I'm sorry. And here I have I socialized because before I was jail. Administration, and doing
maybe Mahkamah Agung, maybe Jaksa Agung.
I was doing this, but after I start to socialize again, to meet people, and to working as a volunteer. And after I have been elected by the French community to be their representative in front of the embassy and the French government. And then I have a lot of job, and I like it. And I feel as long as I can, I like to be here and to do what I can here.
What amazes me is that you found the beauty.
Yes.
In a very fractured time, and you chose to stay.
Yep. Yeah, because Indonesia, I learned from the time I knew only Bali on the map, and the rest I even didn't know. Now I think that Indonesia is a huge country and a wonderful country and wonderful people living in. I have a lot of friends, and I love the life in Jakarta. It's if you ask me where I like to live the best in Indonesia, it's Jakarta.
Really?
Really.
You love Jakarta?
Yes, I
Oh
do.
my goodness! Wow. Okay. I mean, I love it because I was born and raised here. But
Yeah,
you've seen the
because-
world.
Yeah. But I like very much Jakarta. I like other towns, of course, in around the world. I like many other countries and life and towns. But as long as I can go to France at least once in a year to visit my family and some friends, I'm happy to be here and to enjoy here life and.
Madam, so with what you experience and sharing your story, which is very powerful, what do you hope for other mothers, I guess, or sisters, or daughters, or whoever, like, who are facing maybe not the same difficulties, but just like facing challenges?
Challenges, I think never lose hope and always think that everything is possible. That when we want something very hardly, it happens.
Keep on fighting.
Yep.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Thank you so much for never giving up.
Yeah.
Thank you so
very
much.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry for breaking.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It means a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lu kan psikolog, nih kita ngedate, lu lagi bikin catatan gak nih tentang gue? Mau capek gitu. Enggak, gue cuma mau makan. Cowok ngomongin seksualitas, oh ya udahlah itu namanya cowok seperti itu emang. Tapi kalau misalkan perempuan, it's like we don't have sexuality.
Thank you for watching. This program is part of Cauldron Talks. Selain di YouTube, teman-teman bisa nonton di Facebook Watch dan dengarkan di Spotify atau Apple Podcast. Cari Cauldron Talks. If you enjoy it, please share with others.